Okay, so in this video we're looking at the sine rule, which is grade 7, and again, one of the topics, it might sound a little bit intimidating, but really it's not. So the sine rule, this video we're looking at missing sides. We'll get into what the sine rule really is all about, and we'll go from there. So you see in the title, right, a sine. So far in your maths careers, you've done grade 5 trigonometry to find missing sides and angles using trigonometry, so sine, cos, and tan. So this kind of thing here. So far, which is really, really important, you've just considered trigonometry with right angle triangles, like you see below, right angle, okay, which is really important. So you're considering triangles that have right angles. But, so there's SOHCAHTOA stuff, okay? But now, we can use the sine and the cosine rule to find missing sides and angles in non-right angle triangles. So we've got this thing called the sine rule, which we're doing today. We've got another thing called the cosine rule, which will be another video. But basically, right, you can use the sine and cosine rule to find missing sides and angles in non-right angle triangles, such as these below. So very, very important that we can distinguish between the grade 5 SOHCAHTOA, which is right angle triangles, and then sine and cosine is where you've got triangles without a right angle. But like grade 5 trig, you're still using them to find missing sides or angles. Okay, so today we're looking at the sine rule and looking at finding missing sides using the sine rule. Let's get into it. This here is really, really important, okay? We use the sine rule. So, sorry, what I recommend you do here is get your pad out, your notepad, and make some notes on this spot here. So we use the sine rule when we're given two pairs of opposite angles and sides. What does that really mean? So, for example, here you can see, right, we're given two pairs of opposite sides and angles. So you've got one pair of opposite side here. That's your side, 7.3. Your opposite angle is at 48. So the red arrow there is showing your side at 7.3. Your angle is 48. That's one pair of opposite sides and angles. Your second pair, that 55, opposite the x. That x side is what you're trying to find, but it's a pair of opposite angles and sides. So very important. Okay, you've got two pairs of opposite angles and sides, which we can see here. Similarly over here, we've got an angle. Opposite that angle, we've got the side. Here we've got the side. Opposite that side, we've got the angle. Okay, so we can only use the sine rule given that condition, which is really important because what happens later on, we get introduced to the cosine rule and you've got to be able to distinguish which one you use. So this here is really, really important. So make a note of that. So what actually is the sine rule? Right, with the sine rule, again, it is for a non-right angle triangle, and similarly to things like grade 5 trigonometry, SOHCAHTOA, and Pythagoras, labeling your triangle is fundamental. If you label your triangle correctly at the start, you're much more likely to get the questions right. So when you get a triangle, a non-right angle triangle, this is how you label it, okay? So we have a side here. This side here we call lowercase a, and then opposite, okay, opposite the side, the angle that we give it is the capital of that. So side A, opposite it is capital A. Similarly, if we have side B, this one down here, the angle opposite that side is capital. So angle capital B, opposite side B. And then finally, let's go and use a different colour again. We've got side C, opposite that side C is your capital angle C. So this is how we label up a triangle for the sine and also the cosine rule later on. So what actually is the sine rule? This is the sine rule. So to find missing sides, we are given this formula, okay, and that will make much more sense in a second, where A, B, and C are your sides. Sine A is sine of your angle A, sine B, angle B, so on and so forth. And then in the next video, we'll be looking at finding missing angles, which is very, very similar. Okay, it's just they flipped over this. They put the A on the bottom, the sine A on top, like this. They've just flipped over your fractions. But today we're just considering finding sides. But really, in reality, right, when you do these questions on the sine rule, you don't need all three parts. Okay, so in the formula booklet, you'll be given this up here, not the bottom one. Okay, so you need to know that, but it's very similar. They give you this, but really, in reality, all you need to know is A over sine A is equal to B over sine B for missing sides. And the reason is, okay, is because the questions just look at two sides and two angles. Right, for the time being, make a note of that. That is really, really important. So pause the video and get that down. Right, let's actually get into questions using the sine rule. So here we go. The question is, right, find x, and we can see that x here is your missing side. So that's what I want to find. And I'm given the sine rule up here, which we can refer to. Okay, it's given to us in the formula booklet. It's given to you as 3 parts with the C as well, but you just need the first 2 parts. The first thing you must make sure you do, as with any trigonometry problems or Pythagoras or whatever, you label your triangle. Okay, so that is referring back to this thing here. So x is what I'm trying to find. Let's go and call that side there side A, lowercase a, which must mean the angle opposite that side is going to be capital A. So this here will be capital A. So these two are opposite. And then let's go and put a different color here. Let's go and use green. So this side here, we can go and call side B. Opposite that side B, okay, is that angle, which is 48 degrees. So that's capital B. So angles are always the capitals, and the sides are always the lowercase. Once you've labelled your triangle, it's just substitution. Okay, so we go and plug these numbers in to our formula, which is up here. So we've got A, which is A is x, so we can go and write x there, over the sine of the angle A. So sine of the angle, well, A is that 55, so bracket 55 is equal to B, which is your other side. This is B, which is 7.3 over sine of the angle B. Angle B is there, so sine of the angle 48. Okay, now we've just got to do a little bit of rearranging. I've got x over sine 55 is equal to this bit here. Because I'm dividing through here by sine 55, to get this up here, I've got to multiply through by sine 55. So I will get x is equal to get rid of that dividing there, I've got to times both sides by sine 55. So I will get sine 55 multiplied by this 7.3 over sine 48. If that's confused you, right, imagine you had something much more simple. Imagine you had something like x over, I don't know, let's just say 3 is equal to 1 over 2. Okay, solving equations, you want to get rid of that 3, which is being dividing by 3. You can multiply both sides through by 3. So times through by 3, times through by 3. They cancel. You get x is equal to a half times 3. Or 3 times a half. It's the same thing going on down here. Okay, we're just timesing through by sine 55. Good. And then what you could do from here is, you could go and... Oh, that's it, sorry, right. So what we do from here, is we just go and write this here into our calculator. And if you've got a half-decent calculator, this is pretty straightforward. Okay, and it's really important that we do have a good calculator. You know, it just makes things so much easier. So we're typing in sine 55 times 7.3 over sine 48, and that will give you roughly 8.0 or 8.05. It's gone to 1 decimal place here, so we'll keep it to 1. So it's just going to be 8 centimeters to 1 decimal place. Okay, and that is your answer there. That's it. Okay, so that is all we do. And look, if you label up your triangle correctly, then hopefully you've seen, actually, that's not too bad at all, and it isn't too bad. Okay, so what you can do now is you can pause the video, give that your turn a go, and then we'll look at 3 examples that you can try yourself, and then we'll go through those, and you can fast forward to the end. So your turn, let's go through it. Again, first step, you must make sure you label up your triangle. Okay, so let's go and find... And you could label up this to be A or this to be A to begin with, but I always like to go for the one that I'm trying to find. Y is what I'm trying to find. Let's go and call that one there A, which means my angle opposite that is going to be capital A. That's capital A. And then my other side is going to be side B. That's B. The side opposite, the angle opposite the side is going to be capital B. So this one here is capital B. And then once you've got that, you're good to go and plug into your formula. So we've got A, which is in this case A is Y. That's what we're trying to find. Y is, sorry, y over sine of the angle A. Angle A is 57, so sine 57 is equal to B. B is 11, so 11 over sine of the angle capital B is 80. There we go. To go and find y, your missing side, you've got to go and now multiply through by sine 57. Let's go and do that. So y is going to be equal to sine 57, timesing it through by 11 over sine 80. And then you go and put that into your calculator and you will get y is equal to, so sine 57 times 11 over sine 80. And we get to one decimal place, 9.4. So 9.4 centimeters to one decimal place. You might have rounded differently. If you got 9.367, that's what we're after. Okay, the rounding here doesn't matter too much for the time being. We're just trying to get the answer. Okay, so hopefully that was quite useful. So what you can do now is you can pause the video. You've got 3 examples there that you can try. Again, using the sine rule to find missing sides in those triangles there. What's really important is you make sure, okay, because this one and this one, the second and third one, you have got more information than you need, or less information than you need, but you've got to make sure you've got 2 pairs of opposite sides and angles. That's really, really important. Okay, so give those a go, and then we'll go through them. So hopefully you've had a go at those. Let's begin going through these. And again, you must make sure you label up your sides and your angles. So again, missing side here, go and call side A. Angle opposite that side is at 45, capital A. Your other side and your other angle is going to be, well, this side here is going to call B. Opposite angle is going to be angle B. And then substituting in to your formula, where A is X. So we've got X over sine of the angle A, where A is 45, so 45 is equal to B, side B is 9 over sine of the angle capital B is 85. Okay, and then we've got to go and rearrange here. We're trying to find X. We're dividing through by sine 45 times through by sine 45. So X is going to be equal to sine 45 times 9 over sine 85. So X is going to be equal to, go and put that into your calculator, sine 45 times 9 over sine 85 is equal to 6.421 decimal place. So 6.4 centimeters to 1 decimal place. Okay, and that there is your answer. Good. Okay, question 2, the middle one. So we're trying to find X again. Again, let's just go and begin by labeling up that side. That's going to be useful. Let's go and call this side here A, which must mean, use a different color. Let's go and use that. Good. That's going to be side A. Again, your angle opposite that side is going to be your capital A. So that's there is capital A. Now, you've been given 2 angles, but you've got to make sure, right, you've got 2 pairs of opposite sides and angles. If I chose this angle here, there is not a side opposite to use, so I can't use that one. So here, I've got to go and use the other angle, which is 40, because opposite that 40, I've got that side there, which is 5.7. So that side's going to be side B. This angle here is going to be angle B. They've got to be opposite pairs of sides and angles, side and angle, shown by the arrows here. Okay, the angle 69 has got nothing opposite it, so I can't use that one. So look, once you've laid up your triangle, it should become relatively easy. Okay, just substitution and a little bit of rearranging. So again, A is X, so I've got X over sine A. A is 71, so sine 71 is equal to B. B is 5.7. 5.7 over sine of the angle B. So sine of the angle B. B is 40. There we go. I'm trying to find X. I've got to times through by sine 71. So X is going to be equal to sine 71 timesing it through by 5.7 over sine 40. and then plug that into my calculator. And if I do that, let's see what we get. We get sine 71 times 5.7 over sine 40. And there we go. To one decimal place, we're going to get 8.4 centimeters. Okay, again to one decimal place. And that there is your answer. Okay, last but not least, let's have a look at this one, and we might run into a bit of an issue here, but we'll soon solve it, hopefully. So we're trying to find side x, which we can go and call side A. Angle opposite that is going to be angle capital A. That's going to put that in. So this one here is going to be capital A. And, well, you might be thinking, well, I've got an angle here, but no side opposite it, which isn't useful. And I've got a side here, but no angle opposite it. So there's an issue. There is an issue. But, okay, hopefully we've recognised we've got a triangle here. Angles in a triangle are going to sum to 180. So to find this angle here, I can just go and do 180, take away 54, take away 64, okay, because angles in a triangle add up to 180. If I do that, we're going to get 62. Let's double check. 620. Good. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, good. So 62 goes in there. 62 degrees. Okay, let's get rid of that so we don't overload the screen. And let's go and write that in there so it's a little bit nicer. So in here we've got 62 degrees. Let's go and write it in the same colour. So 62 degrees. Good. And now, what else have we got? We've now got this side here, 3.7, which we can go and call B, which is now opposite an angle. And there we go. We've got the angle there now, which is 62. Let's go and call that B, capital B for the angle, and we're good to go. Always capitals for the angles, lowercase for the sides. Sine rule. We've got A over sine A, where A is x, so x over sine of the angle, A, which is 54. 54 is equal to B. B is 3.7, so 3.7 over sine of the angle B. Capital B is there, so sine of the angle 62. And again, we can just go and times through by sine 54. So x is equal to sine 54, and we're timesing through by 3.7 over sine 62. If we do that, we're going to get x is equal to, a little bit cramped, apologies for that, but sine 54 times 3.7 over sine 62, and we get 3.4 centimeters to one decimal place. Okay, which looks, yeah, about right using our diagram. Okay, if you got those, year 11, superb work. That's the sine rule for missing sides. Next video we'll be looking at missing angles. But look, hopefully you're realizing actually I can do this stuff, and that's just really, really good. So well done, year 11.